Hi guys, welcome back to another PalaceFanTV video. I'm Jay from the EaglesBeak.com, a Palace fan site. I'm joined by two of the people responsible for the Julian Speroni Testimonial Game last week, Mark Williams and James Filler. Thank you both for joining us.
No problem.
First things first, congratulations on putting on such a great game last week actually. It was great to be there and watch and experience. First of all, how did you both get involved in the testimonial?
Well, I've been involved in other testimonial games, Simon Roger, Dougie Friedman, Steve Kemba, plus I organised 2 charity games for Jeff Thomas. And I've known Julian for a while, and the secretary of the testimonial, Bob Morgan, is a great friend of mine, and he asked me to be involved, and I've become good friends with Julian since, so it was a real pleasure to be invited. I'd always said that once I'd done one I'd never do another, but it was Julian, what can I do? So.
And after doing one now I can see why I don't want to do another. It's a lot of hard work. No, I work in events, and I've known Julian ever since he signed for a good 10 years now. And when you put a committee together, it involves people that are good with money, people that are good with facts and figures, and also I come in with the events. So we did the Fairford Halls thing to start with in January, and it's taken on from there really. So that's where I come into it.
What involvement did Julian have? Was there any decisions that he kind of changed your minds on at all? Or?
No, officially, when a testimonial is set up, the player is not involved in any of the meetings at all. The only decision he made that he was very adamant about was the choice of opposition, and that we tried to negotiate something a little different with him, but he was very adamant that Dundee was going to be who it was, and he was absolutely right in his decision. As we've all found out since. Yeah.
Very good decision, yeah. We couldn't imagine that on a Tuesday night, after the season's finished, for them to bring down 2,000 and literally do a Croydon takeover really, and literally come down and buy all the shirts, buy all the scarves, and be so positive on social media and things like that, and all for one man, so it was great. And if we had a Palace player that had played 90, 100 games for us 10 years ago and gone off to play for Dundee, I don't think 2,000 Palace fans would have gone to Dundee on a Tuesday night.
No, they were absolutely fantastic, weren't they? Some of the images after the game, them meeting Palace fans, kids, giving them scarves, it's really great.
As of Tuesday, they have 9,000 more fans than they had before, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's nice to touch to see Julian go in goal for Dundee last 15 minutes. Was that his choice or?
No, it was our decision actually, Mark, wasn't it? Really?
It was his choice in the end. We came up with the idea early. But then logistically, we didn't really want him doing the lap of honour and all the main photos of the night wearing a Dundee kit, because it's his testimonial, it's Palace. But we, at the very last minute, we sort of said he's got 11 years of photos in the Palace shirt. He's going to have all the entrants in the Palace shirt, the Homesdale fanatics and all that. Let's have his little bit of glory. So we said to the kit people, the Dundee kit people, the night before, give us a spare kit. We're not going to promise anything. We didn't tell anybody. We told the manager. But it was a very, very last minute thing, but he really wanted to do it, and the photos are just amazing. And
fantastic.
We ran him in the kitchen, and it was quite a quick change.
Was,
and the staff in the kitchen are still preparing things, looking around, and there's a goalkeeper getting naked. So it's quite funny.
And also it was to give something back to Dundee as well, because they had given so much themselves that we felt that they deserved this, that it was their moment. It really was, everything done in front of them, and we did explain to the fanatics in particular why we were doing this, and they were very supportive of it, and they felt that it was the right decision as well. So.
Did you have to approach the players to ask them to play, or did they just come to you?
We approached Alan Pardew, who was initially we were dealing with Neil Warnock, of course, he was very supportive, and then when Alan came along, he's a friend of mine from many years back, so we had a little chat about it, told him what was going on. He said that's fine, whatever you need doing, just let me know. But as it came closer to the game, I was actually dealing with Keith Millen, who's an absolute dream to deal with, and he was very helpful, just did everything we needed to do. But it was amazing, the whole thing was amazing.
Obviously the Fanatics did a great display on the Homesdale, like they normally do. Did you have many meetings with them to agree what was to be done, or was it their own idea, or how did that happen?
They came to one meeting, 4 of them, and already told us, we didn't even know, but they were selling their own Julian scarves to raise money, or all the funds of the profits would raise money for a display. But we didn't know this, so it was great to hear that. And that was a night we sort of brainstormed with them. We gave them options about who should we play, what should we do, and all this sort of thing. And it was great feedback, because they even said to us, if you play Bromley, if you play Stevenage, it doesn't matter. We're going to have a Julian Speroni testimonial. We're all going to come out for it. So that helped, because if we had heard from them, oh, it must be a Premiership team, or it must be a Italian team or an Argentinian team or whatever, then we would have taken it on board. But they were just so supportive, and what they did was great. And
was there any last minute changes before the game, in the 24 hours leading up to the game, or any little things that fans wouldn't have perhaps noticed on the night? Or
probably Clinton Morrison phoning me at 6:45 saying I'm still stuck in traffic probably added to my stress levels somewhat.
There was a little bit of theatre involved in terms of the game, because we had our set photos that we wanted to do. So we knew the Homestyle fanatics would do the display, so we knew there'd be a guard of honour. But the funny thing was, I asked the teams to train on the different ways, because obviously if you're a Palace fan, you know that Palace will shoot against the Homesdale second half, so they always warm up there. But I went and met the team. I said, look, could you warm up down the other end, because they didn't know that Julian was going to come on for Dundee. We wanted it to be down the Dundee end. Obviously, it makes a lovely photo.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was saying to them all, look, and they're going, well, we'll try, but we don't think we can. The lads go out and they train there. Okay. So the only bit of theatre we had to do was fix the coin toss.
Yeah.
So when the coin toss was done, we have to swap ends. So we made them swap ends.
So that was a bit of manufacturing.
Manufactured the photo. So obviously he comes out, guard of honour, fanatics, goes in goal down the other end, but then when it comes to coming off and going on, it was down the Dundee end. So that was all that was all manufactured basically. There was a little bit of theatre involved there.
Obviously, the first half was played by Palace 11. It was much closer to the Palace first 11 as you could. Obviously, legends played and guests played the second half. How did getting those people together, getting them to join in?
That was the fun part.
Yeah.
The difficult part was that it was half term, so a lot of them were away. Dougie Freedman would have played, but it was the only time that he could go away with his kids on holiday.
It's a shame.
So it was. I was, he was devastated. We were devastated. Similarly with Sean Derry, we had Sean there, and a number of others that we asked. Who else did we invite? There was a few others, wasn't there?
There's a few. Julian's got a lot of names. A lot of good friends of his weren't major players. For example, Johnny Ertel, people like that, not big. They weren't, Darren Ambrose was obviously
absolutely
a big player, but he had a back injury.
He
had a back injury. He'd just been had the semi-final of the playoffs and got a back injury. So that was a bit of a shame.
Yeah. But Julian had a list of players that he wanted involved, and we did our very best to get as many of those as we could. The lovely thing was Aki Rihalati. Aki is just a delight to work with. He really is.
Yeah.
And his whole week had already been mapped out what he was going to do. He changed the whole lot. Came over on a train on his own, got in a taxi, got to the ground, and was Aki Rihalati. Hadn't played competitively for 2 years. And was just a delight, said he wouldn't have missed it for the world. Clinton, of course, is Clinton, and Clinton said that the crowd would be there to see Clinton. Julian was sort of like a byproduct of it all, really, and he was just fantastic. He was carrying an injury, but he said he wouldn't let us down, and he played for 10 minutes, which was amazing. John Solarco was the slight oddity in all of that, but he and Julian get on very well through the golf circuit. And I asked John if he would play, and he said, yes, I can only play for 10 minutes, Jane. My knees have had it. Couldn't get him off the pitch.
Played half an hour, didn't he?
Exactly. Couldn't get him off the pitch. Milked
Yeah.
it for all it was worth.
Yeah.
Loved every second of it, because that's a boy with red and blue through his heart. It really is. Charlie Adam had approached Julian at the Stoke game and said, lifelong Dundee fan. Heard that he was, Dundee was the testimonial opposition. Could he play? He would love to. So Julian fed that back to us. So I wrote to Michael Hughes, Mark Hughes, even. Sorry, Mark. I didn't mean that. Thinking, Michael Hughes.
Another
Mark
player
Hughes,
we
exactly.
wanted to try and
we
get.
did. Absolutely, we did. So I wrote to Mark Hughes formally and asked for permission for him to play, and he said yes, absolutely he could, but only for 45 minutes, and it had to be 45 minutes. First 45 minutes off he toddled. I'm thinking, okay, that's great. Nobody's hurt. So when he comes back on in the last 15 minutes, I'm thinking, oh my God, don't get hurt, don't fall over, don't break your leg, don't do anything. Because I'm thinking, I'm really the shit here. Otherwise, it won't happen. So that was But he wanted to score a goal for his dad, and that's what he did. So it was an emotional moment for him.
Big question is, did Alan Pardew choose himself for the second half, or did he?
No, we said that we wanted him to play, and he said, yeah, all right, I might do that. I made him the number 9, which embarrassed him somewhat, I think, but rank has its privileges, etc., etc. And it was absolutely right that he came on with John Solarco as well. That was it was brilliant for both of them. It really was.
I think one of my favourite moments was John Solarco berating Pardew for a stray pass.
Exactly.
We've got it on film. We've got it on film.
Absolutely fantastic.
It'll be on the net soon.
It'll be on the
net soon. We've got that. Yeah. Up close.
So the proceeds of the game are going to charity. Can you tell us a bit about the charity, and is there a final figure that you've had yet, or are you still?
No, we're still working on that really. Money's still coming in from sponsors and gate receipts, etc., etc. Again, when we first started this whole process, Julian didn't have to give the money to charity, but that was again one of the things he was very adamant about, that he felt that he's had a privileged life, that his family's well taken care of, and that he wanted to give something back, and so that's what will happen. All we do know is that one of the charities that will benefit will be Cure Leukemia, which is Thomas's charity.
So what next for the committee? I know there's a few of you on the committee, but the testimonial year kind of goes up September this year, so is there many more plans to celebrate Speroni as such?
We have a golf event which will take place in September, and that will be with ex-players, current players, ex-managers, etc. So 4 balls to buy, but with a chance to play with an ex-Palace legend, and we're going to have some great people there as well. Somebody I haven't mentioned, who's a massive favourite of mine, is Peter Ramage. A great golfer. He plays off 2, I think. So he'll be down playing in the golf event, and he allowed me to put Rambo on the back of his shirt, which I was pretty chuffed about.
Yeah.
Did you get involved in the Dundee side at all, or was that solely down to them to choose who they were going to play?
No, it was down to them, and they were very open with whomever Julian wanted to bring in to play. That's fine. Just let us know, and we'll make sure we've got enough shirts. They all had Speroni on the back anyway.
I was
which I
going
thought
to say,
was
whose
really
idea
cool.
was that? Was that their idea?
Yeah, it was theirs.
Yeah.
They were the first ones to create a special Julian Speroni testimonial shirt, which then meant that we had to do a Julian Speroni testimonial shirt. So a little bit more work.
But the nice thing, and it sums up Julian, was that the night before the game, he had all the All-Stars in the Buenos Aires restaurant, which is next door to Speroni restaurant. In Speroni restaurant, you had all the Dundee people and the fan club and all the chairmen. So he's in there with all these stars, and and we tell him, well, next door's around with all this Dundee. So he took all the stars, got up, walked next door, and can you imagine, walked into the restaurant, the Dundee fan club with all of the stars, and they just had photos galore, sign everything. Then he went back into dinner back next door, but just to see them walk in and have all the cheers and the chants and the photos. Must be amazing. It's like us being with Lombardo, as I said. It's just, it's the same. Yeah.
And finally, it looked like Speroni enjoyed the game. Did you have any feedback from him, after the event? And
he loved it all. He was very emotional about it. He was very, because it exceeded all of our expectations. You have an idea of how you want it to go, but that blew everything out of the water. It really did. It was just from every single angle. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect. The reaction from the crowd, the amazing Dundee fans, everything was just amazing. We couldn't have wished for anything better.
When he went from the display, that he came out with his family and saw the display and then walked back to the halfway line, he was crying.
Yeah.
And then he said to me the next day he didn't sleep. So when he got home, he was buzzing so much he just couldn't sleep. He just couldn't switch off.
I couldn't either. Just being at the game, and
it's
such a big event.
It was just perfect. And I think my picture of the event is taken by David
Young,
who's the Dundee photographer, and it's just magic. The little boy looking up with absolute adoration at Julian just sums it all up for me. And he's written a really good blog as well. Actually, it's well worth a look at. But it was heaven. Loved it all. Loved it all.
We must do something again with Dundee.
Absolutely right. Yes, please.
Got to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to miss a trick if we don't.
I know. I miss them all already.
Yeah.
They got a new fan club in South London.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure I'll speak for all Palace fans. Thank you very much for organising the game, being part of it. Obviously, got a few more events coming up, so we look forward to those. Thank you all for watching PalaceFanTV. Hope you've enjoyed Mark and Jane talking about the Speroni testimonial, and we'll look out for some more events in the future. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you very much.